moved to Tokyo to make an album. I didn't even move there with a plan. I just said yes to something that felt uncomfortable. And somehow it might have been the most important creative decision of my life. So this is the beginning of that story. What's going on, everybody? I'm Milo. I've been making music for over 7 years now, but technically, my music journey started way before that. And I want to start documenting this thing properly. Not just the wins, not just the releases, the process, the real story. When I was 7, I started music with Cuban percussions. Unfortunately, my teacher passed after about a year of doing music. So when I stopped, my mom basically told me, you can't not be doing any music, you gotta pick something else. So I was scrolling on YouTube and I found this video of someone slapping the bass, and I told my mom, I want to do that. That decision kind of shaped everything. I played the bass, then about 7 years later, picked up the guitar, and that even led up to music production, which kind of also started the same way. I was scrolling through YouTube and I had found Shuki beats with his real old school type beats. And I think a couple years later, he had started his Shuki Beats 2 channel, where he was doing tutorials showing Fruity Loops, showing the M Audio keyboard, the drum kits, the drum pads, the VSTs, the plugins, and man, after that I was hooked. My teacher was also fluent in FL Studio, so we did a class and I was hooked after that. At some point though, I knew I wanted to live off of music. I was supposed to study originally in economics at Nanterre University, but my mom told me something I would never forget. She asked me why I would study something I didn't love, just for security. And I knew if I really went down through that path, I would have regretted it later on. So I trusted her, and I joined the SAE Institute audio production course. Honestly, I don't really recommend it for the knowledge. I could have learned all that on YouTube, but the connections I got from the school is what I would recommend. It changed everything. It got me in rooms and in projects I would have never been able to if I went to economics for sure. Some of the producers I met in that class, I still work with to this day. Now fast forward about 3 years after I graduated, in March 2025. About a year before that, in 2024, my girl went up to me and she told me, yo, I'm dipping, I'm going to Japan, I'm going to Tokyo. She was going as an exchange student and she asked me if I wanted to come. And I said yes immediately, which sounds bold but also terrifying. No safety net, no family, no connections. I didn't know anybody out there. I didn't speak the language. Everything was different and I knew it was gonna be hard. But I also knew it could change everything. We landed in March 2025 during Sakura season, and then I knew it was real. It was just us and the unknown. The first person I had contact with in Japan was Kenji Jino, a legendary bass player. He even has his own Fender jazz bass and his poster up on the flagship Fender store in Harajuku. How did I know this Jino? My uncle had gone to music school with him. Anyway, I show up to this place and he's outside holding a bass. No case, nothing, and he just hands it to me and says, play. So picture this, I'm in the middle of Tokyo, in the middle of the street with an absolute legend, and he's about to give me one of his spare basses. Week 1, I was in Japan. I had already got a bass, an instrument that I could play with, and to be honest, that moment meant a lot more than I realized at the time. Around the same time, I had reached out to Monica Dixon. I found her through a studio in Yokohama called Tokyo Down Records. I had gone through each and every one of their artists that they were working with, and I had DM'd her and sent her a beat pack, and she really fucked with the music. About a couple weeks after I moved, we met up for coffee, and then maybe a week after that, we started the sessions. Something clicked immediately. The work ethic, the hunger. She always showed up prepared and wanting to improve. We started working weekly, minimum 1 to 2 sessions a week. And then I met Terrence, her music producer, who even gave me an acoustic guitar that was abandoned at the hotel he was working at. In less than a month, I had the speakers, the mic that I brought, a bass from a legendary bass player, and a random guitar from a producer I had just met. A full setup in a country where I knew nothing. This is where something started to change. I didn't go to Tokyo to build a project. I didn't go to Tokyo to build an album. I just wanted to grow. But week after week, sessions started to stack, songs started to be made, and after about 6 months, I had already stacked up about 30 songs. The ideas just kept stacking up and forming. None of them were planned, none of them were supposed to connect, but they all felt connected. It felt like something was forming on its own. And I remember thinking, this moment right now, there's no reproducing it. There's no doing it again. Being here in Tokyo with these people, with this kind of energy, with this kind of momentum, it's not random anymore. I think sometimes we always look for big breakthroughs, big moments, big opportunities, big announcements. But the real shifts, they happen quietly. You just gotta keep saying yes, keep your head down, keep moving forward, and just keep showing up. And eventually you'll realize that you're not the same person who arrived. I didn't know it at the time, but Japan wasn't just a trip. It was the beginning of something that I had been building my entire life. And this is just the start of that story.